The cameras flashed. The courtroom was silent, just suspended in this moment of almost disbelief.
Yeah.
As a woman, a well-known actress, leans into the mic and talks about systematic violence.
It wasn't just like typical Hollywood drama.
No, not at all. This was this detailed, really harrowing account of alleged abuse, physical and psychological. And it all centered on this terrifying claim that her estranged husband was squeezing her head so hard, she said it felt like he was crushing my skull.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Today, we're diving deep into the legal battle unfolding between Denise Richards and Aaron Vipers.
Right, and there's a lot to unpack here. Court filings, testimony, legal reports. We're going to cut through the headlines.
Yeah, our mission today is really to understand the high stakes. We want to move beyond just the shocking sound bites, look at the legal strategies, the evidence, especially third-party evidence.
And the money. There are huge financial consequences hanging on this one restraining order hearing.
Exactly. So it all starts with the divorce filing. That was the catalyst, right, for immediate legal protection.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that timeline because the sequence here it's really telling. It seems quite strategic.
So the marriage, nearly 6 years.
Right. And it started falling apart publicly when Vipers actually filed first, July 7th, 2025. Cited the usual, irreconcilable differences.
But he didn't just stop there, did he?
No. And this is crucial. His petition immediately requested spousal support from Richards.
Okay, so the money part is right there from the get-go.
Front and center, which really sets the stage for what happened next.
Which was just 9 days later, July 16th. Richards responds, but it's not like a standard legal reply.
No, far from it. She files an urgent, ex parte temporary domestic violence restraining order, a TRO.
And the court granted it instantly. So for anyone listening who might not know, ex parte means the judge reviewed her claim and issued the order without Vipers even being there.
Because the claim involved immediate credible danger. That's the threshold.
Right. But what's interesting is why she said she waited. 6 years of marriage, why file the TRO only after he filed for divorce?
Well, according to her court filing, she stated she'd been afraid to report him sooner. She claimed he repeatedly threatened to kill her and also himself if she ever went to the police or told anyone.
So the divorce filing maybe changed the dynamic, made it feel like the final break where she had to seek protection.
That's how she framed it. Like a necessary step for survival, only possible once the relationship was definitively ending.
And the claims backing up that TRO, they're incredibly specific, not just vague accusations.
No, very detailed. She alleged a multi-year pattern of severe violence, and specifically targeting her head and neck.
She actually said he would frequently violently choke me and violently squeeze my head with both hands.
That specificity matters legally. It's not just arguing, it's describing, a systematic pattern of targeted trauma.
And focusing on the head and neck, that's legally and medically significant, isn't it?
Hugely significant. Those methods carry a really high risk of serious injury, even death. And she claims these incidents caused her at least 3 concussions over the years.
3 concussions.
Yeah. So that speaks directly to the severity needed for a protective order. It wasn't minor contact. It was violence allegedly causing verifiable physical harm.
She detailed some specific moments, too, like that Chicago hotel incident in April 2025.
Right, where she claimed he squeezed her head so hard it felt like he was being crushed.
That crushing my skull quote. And that resulted in one of the concussions.
She also mentioned getting a really bad black eye back in January 2022.
And being slammed against a concrete wall sometime between March and May 2022, hitting her head on the concrete.
And, if you look at the alleged timing of some of these incidents.
Oh, yeah. What about the timing?
Well, Richards claims some assaults happened when she was particularly vulnerable physically, like shortly after a full facelift when she still had stitches, or while recovering from another major, 7-hour surgery.
Wow. That suggests, well, it paints a picture of trying to exert power when she was least able to defend herself.
Exactly. It points towards coercive control, potentially. It's a horrific picture she painted.
It really is. But for a while, it was basically her word against his.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
Right.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later, we reveal the identity of the shock witness who kind of changed everything in that courtroom.
Yeah, that's often the challenge in these cases, right? Domestic violence in civil court, it can just become this agonizing he said, she said battle.
Trying to figure out who's telling the truth based on just 2 conflicting stories.
It's incredibly difficult for a judge, But that difficulty, well, it shifted dramatically when third-party evidence came in, especially from someone so close to the accused.
This witness carried immense legal weight because it was Aaron Pfeiffer's own cousin.
Kathleen McAllister. And she wasn't just family, she used to work for him at his wellness center.
So someone aligned with him by family and work ties, testifying against him. That's powerful validation for Richard's claims.
Absolutely. And the circumstances of her testimony were also telling. Richard's lawyer told the court McAllister was, quote, deathly afraid of Pfeiffer's.
She only agreed to testify virtually and wanted anonymity in the public record.
Exactly. Which speaks volumes about the level of threat she perceived. It adds incredible weight to her claims about Pfeiffer's nature and corroborates the fear Richards herself described.
And her testimony was just devastating for his defense. She directly backed up the January 2022 black eye incident.
Said she saw Pfeiffer's hit Richards, and Richards immediately had a really bad black eye. So, boom, direct corroboration of a key claim.
And she described witnessing violence herself.
Yes, she described a horrific incident. Said she saw him choking Richards against a concrete wall in the parking lot of his wellness center, causing her head to slam against it.
Just like Richards claimed happened.
Precisely. McAllister testified she was so concerned she told the court she thought Richards could have died. That's direct eyewitness testimony of life-threatening violence.
And did she address the threats? Richards claimed he threatened to kill her if she spoke out.
McAllister confirmed that too. Testified that Pfeiffer's threatened to kill both Richards and McAllister several times. Said he just would be raging and threatening that if we told anybody, he'd kill us all.
Wow. That aligns perfectly with Richards saying fear kept her silent for so long.
It really does. And connecting this to the broader picture, the claims weren't just about physical violence. They also documented extensive psychological and technological abuse.
Right, that modern coercive control element we see more and more, the battle moving into the digital realm.
Richards alleged he systematically accessed her private info. Claimed he got into her laptop while she was asleep, downloaded everything from her iCloud.
That's a massive violation of privacy, basically turning your spouse into a constant surveillance subject.
And she claimed it was active surveillance. Said he bragged about planting recording devices in hotel rooms, in townhouses, monitoring her constantly.
Turning their shared spaces into, well, a potential evidence locker against her. It sounds like an alleged pattern of gathering ammunition.
And sometimes that digital intrusion allegedly triggered physical violence. Richards testified one time when he was squeezing her head, it started because he yelled, "I just saw you've been talking to Rudy," after getting into her private messages.
So the snooping directly led to an alleged physical assault.
That's the claim. And the digital retaliation allegedly didn't stop after the separation. Richards accused Pfeiffer's of leaking her private nude photos and texts to news outlets after the TRO was issued.
Which is often called, revenge porn or non-consensual distribution of private material.
Exactly. And it forced her to petition the court specifically to block him from releasing any more of her private content. It moves the abuse from physical battery to, public character assassination.
Which carries its own serious legal consequences. That detailed breakdown of the high-tech violation. That's exactly why you listen to Starscope Report. If you're loving these Hollywood twists and turns, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. We're just scratching the surface of the financial pressure cooker driving this whole case.
Yeah, let's shift to that financial battlefield because it really provides the crucial context for why this legal fight is so intense.
Okay, so Pfeiffer's denies everything. Categorically.
Completely. His team put out statements saying these accusations are completely false and deeply hurtful, calling them conjured up. He actually flipped the narrative, positioning Richards as the aggressive one who attacked and harassed him many times.
And he tried to back that up in court.
Yeah, he introduced counter evidence, call logs allegedly showing dozens of missed calls from Richards after the temporary restraining order was already in place.
Okay, what's the strategy there? Trying to undermine her claim of being afraid.
Precisely. The whole basis for a TRO, especially making it permanent, is that the court believes she faces an imminent threat and lives in genuine fear. If his defense can show she was persistently contacting him after getting the order.
It plants doubt in the judge's mind about how real that fear actually is.
Exactly. It's a tactic to question her credibility as a victim afraid for her safety.
And the reason he's fighting so hard, the stakes are astronomical because he's seeking significant spousal support.
Huge stakes. He claimed their marital lifestyle cost $105,000 a month.
$105,000 a month.
That's the claim. And he alleged Richards earns over $250,000 monthly, partly from, her OnlyFans account.
Okay, so here's where the legal leverage really comes in. There's a specific law at play.
Yes, California Family Code Section 4325, it's critical here.
Yep.
This code basically says if the court finds that one party committed domestic violence against the other based on a preponderance of the evidence, so more likely than not,
Okay.
it creates a rebuttable presumption against awarding any spousal support to the abuser.
Any support. So if the judge makes the restraining order permanent, finding he did commit domestic violence,
It could completely wipe out his claim for potentially millions in spousal support. It's the financial dagger, essentially.
But that explains the intensity. It's not just about the restraining order itself. It's about potentially losing a massive financial claim. It elevates this way beyond a typical divorce.
It becomes a high-stakes financial war, absolutely.
And there's other drama mixed in too, right? Something about Richard's youngest daughter, Eloise.
Yeah, another layer of complexity. Vipers claimed Richards intentionally didn't finalize his adoption of Eloise, leaving him, in his words, legally without his daughter, despite raising her. Adds an emotional pressure point to the whole thing.
So where does it all stand now? What did the judge say recently?
Well, the procedural status shows the court is taking it very seriously. At a hearing on October 7th, 2025, the judge, Mark Juhas, apparently expressed some frustration with the pace, the disorganization of evidence.
But crucially,
Crucially, he affirmed that the temporary protective order remains in full force and effect while the case moves forward.
okay, so the court still sees a credible need for her protection, maintaining that TRO until the full hearing on the permanent order can happen.
Exactly. The status quo holds, which includes her protection.
So the outcome of that permanent restraining order hearing, it's going to decide everything.
Pretty much. Not just Richard's long-term safety and legal protection from Vipers, but potentially that entire multi-million-dollar divorce settlement, all hinging on whether the judge finds domestic violence occurred based on that family code section.
And the judge has to weigh Richard's detailed claims, backed by corroborated eyewitness testimony from a family member.
Against Vipers' categorical denials and his, pretty sophisticated counterclaims of harassment and victim manipulation.
It's an incredibly difficult position for everyone involved. So what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, this case really throws a spotlight on how personal safety and financial security get tangled up in these high net worth divorces.
Yeah, that deep legal shadow over this whole thing shows that sometimes, in celebrity splits, the cost of winning or losing goes way beyond custody or who gets the house.
And maybe consider this. How complex is it to verify abuse claims when one person faces possible financial ruin if they're found responsible?
And the other person faces potentially enduring more abuse if they're not believed.
Right. It forces us to think about how much proof, how much external corroboration a court needs to establish the truth when the incentives to be dishonest are just incredibly high on both sides.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.